Hello, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the political system of China, the current system, since there's confusion of what it is. Is it communist? Is it capitalist? Is it socialist? And keep in mind that China was feudalist in the 30s until Japan attacked and then changed to democratic country. Until then, Mao Zedong came up in the picture and changed it to communist, which became the father of the communist movement in China. And the democratic soldiers and people moved to Taiwan. And with that, I'll leave the subject with my grandson, Tristan. Go ahead, Tristan.
All right, thank you. So I want to preface this by saying that this video is going to be advocating for the view that modern-day China is socialist. And in order to do this, I want to take the two main arguments that are against the view that modern-day China is socialist and kind of deconstruct them to show that modern-day China is indeed socialist. So the two main arguments against the view that modern-day China is socialist is, number one, that China does have, very big corporations that operate within it. And number two, that China does have a market economy. So tackling the first argument that China does have, very big corporations that do operate within the country, I will, concede this, that, big corporations do exist within China. However, big corporations don't automatically, translate to capitalism. Big corporations and capitalism are not the same thing. And the reason behind this is because, these big corporations, they aren't just free to roam, free to do whatever they want. They are very highly regulated and highly controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and they work under the purview of the states. So the same argument, the same counter-argument, applies to the second argument, or the latter argument, that China does have a market sphere. Now, market spheres, they don't automatically translate to capitalism, right? You can have market spheres under socialism. This is what, happened with, Stalin, like, for example, the black market in the Soviet Union. You can still have a market and be socialist, right? The market just has to work with and be controlled under the purview of the states, right? And this obviously happens in China. The market sphere is very, very tightly regulated by the Chinese Communist Party, very controlled by the state. So we can see here that just because China does have big corporations and does have a market economy, that doesn't mean that it's automatically capitalist. Both can exist under socialism. They just have to be very tightly regulated by the states. And I do want to add in here real quick that worker unions are very, very prevalent in China. I mean, the state has its own, giant worker union with, millions, tens and tens of millions of people within it. So, yeah, I mean, from this, we can kind of consider that China is indeed socialist, because these arguments, they've been deconstructed, and worker rights, worker unions are very prevalent within China. So that would pretty much wrap up the subject and wrap up the video as a whole. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.